and welcome back to another episode of Gaming Podcast. Our Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced review. Steve Kenway, how are you doing?
I'm doing really good. I'm excited to be hanging out with you guys, talking about this game. It's been, a little over a week since we started getting codes for this, and yeah, I'm excited to finally be sitting down and talking about this and letting a lot of feelings and thoughts out.
Hell yeah. Caboose, how are you doing, my man?
Jesus, I'm doing good, I'm doing good. I'm excited to talk about this as well. I wasn't like the biggest ultra fan of the original, so a lot of what I was going into here, I was kind of experiencing for the first time. So I'm excited to just go over my general thoughts about Black Flag as a game and this remake.
It's funny you mentioned that because when the game first came out, I got like a little tired from 3, and then people were like, "Oh, but this is like his great Connor's like great grandfather or something like that."
Yep.
In the story, I was like, I'll get to it eventually, and then it took years for that to happen.
And here we are.
Here we are today. Steve Saylor, how are you doing?
It's Constantine, not Constantine.
There you go.
There you go. I'm doing good. I'm excited to be able to actually talk about this because of the fact that this is, I believe, my first true playthrough of this game. I tried it back on the Xbox 360. We'll get into that, but I'm excited to be able to jump into the remake of what I was at any of the games, at the Assassin's Creed games that I hoped they would remake. This was the one I was hoping for the most.
Hell yeah. I mean, long rumored, worst kept secret. Let's be honest here. But before we start that, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, help us out. Share their podcast with friends and family across all your platforms or on YouTube. If you want to hang out here with us, leave some comments. We always love to read those as well. Apparently, someone loved the Camille's whole Passion of Jubilee for episode 8 on the X-Men review.
Nice.
So,
cool.
So she's off the show, just to show.
Yeah, she ain't coming back. No.
Yeah, she ain't coming back. So,
someone said they really loved her passion for X-Men 97, so we kicked her out of here.
Yeah. And then they were siding with Jubilee. I'm like, that's 2 strikes. You're out. You're out of here. All right. So
we need jaded reviewers only.
Steve McMurray, kick us off. What are your thoughts? Once again, for those who know, we'll just go through a quick overview and a score out of 10, and then we could go more in depth after that.
Yeah, so a little bit of background information. I played Black Flag when it came out, loved it. I was also at a time in my life where I was like, I'm kind of getting burnt out on Assassin's Creed, especially after the ending after Assassin's Creed 3. I was like, why are we doing this? Why are we keep hammering this on?
What's going on?
Yeah, exactly. So I had a love-hate relationship with Black Flag, although removed from being an Assassin's Creed game, I thought this is one of the greatest pieces of pirate media ever created. Yes. And coming back to Resynced, that still holds up. I'm sorry, but it's been, over 10 years. No one's even come close. And I know, Rare, you're out there doing Sea of Thieves and everything. Let the big boys play, because Assassin's Creed Black Flag still has so much juice. Yeah. And I came into this entire playthrough. I beat it, rolled credits, did a bunch of additional stuff at around 23 hours or so. And the entire time I'm trying to remove myself from thinking about it with rose-tinted glasses. I didn't want to just sit there and be like, okay, well, I remember where I was, how I was feeling while playing the original. I want to come into this and be like, does this game hold up in 2026? And in a lot of ways, yes, but in a lot of ways it still doesn't. But that's because it's an Assassin's Creed game, and at its core, Assassin's Creed is incredibly broken, buggy. The story is kind of convoluted at times and everything, but to me, that's kind of the quirk and why I love Assassin's Creed as much as I do, is because it isn't perfect. It is very imperfect. And if you can get around those imperfections, there's a ton of stuff to appreciate here. I think a lot of at its core, the gameplay really refined. It plays really, really well. It looks gorgeous. Playing even just on the base PS5, there are times where I'm like, this is some of Ubisoft's best rendering work and artistry at play. Outside of all of that, there is a ton of new content in this game that I think a lot of diehard fans will really appreciate. The issue I have is that a lot of it comes on the tail end of the game. So it requires you to basically rehash the core story of Black Flag in order to start getting into some really genuinely cool stuff. And we'll touch on some of that later down the road. But it is just kind of sucks because you go through and, throughout 20 hours, I was like, okay, I remember this story beat. I remember doing this. And unless you have that kind of framework of what Black Flag was, you probably wouldn't appreciate some of the little nuanced stuff. If you are just kind of looking at, well, where are the new missions? I want the new quality of life update to really like impact the way I'm playing this. It probably isn't going to hit you until the latter half of the game. So from that perspective, I'm like, I wish there was a little bit more here. But if you do give your time over to the game and invest yourself in it, I think it's worth a second playthrough, and I think Black Flag holds up incredibly well. So playing Resynced, finishing Resynced, I would say this is a solid 8.5 out of 10 for me.
Nice. Oh yeah, good score. Good score. Caboose, you're up to bat.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm coming from this a bit more of like a fresh perspective where I don't remember too much of my time playing the original. So a lot of this felt very new to me. A lot of this felt like it was just a brand new Assassin's Creed release. And to what you're saying, Steve, while it is like a nice new, like a fresh coat of paint, like a lot of beautiful new visuals and like a lot of overhauled stuff, it's still got some of those Assassin's Creed isms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's still got that jank in there. For some people, that's part of the charm. That's what they still enjoy and they love. And maybe that's just that feel is what they've come to expect. So they're cool with it. But I still have to make note of it. There are times where I'm trying to do the parkour and I'm trying to climb some things. And it's like, here's the thing I want to climb right in front of me. And he starts circling around. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Then you go down. You're like, no, up.
Yeah. So like, I still have plenty of moments like that throughout my playthrough. And at the end of the day, though, I really do think that I agree with what most people think in considering this to be one of the best Assassin's Creed games in the franchise. You're absolutely right, Steve. It is one of the best pieces of pirate media we've gotten. It is a sick ass, cool ass pirate game. That is for sure. And I was honestly just surprised because I didn't remember much of the story of the original, the way they weave in the assassin stuff and the way that they make it work and mesh well with the pirate stuff, right? They don't just have it be this Assassin's Creed game where you are an assassin and then all of a sudden you're a pirate. It's more just like this guy who's a pirate and lives that life, kind of falls into this assassin world without really knowing what's going on. And inevitably, you, the player, through him, learn about all this lore, which I thought was really cool. And overall, yeah, like a beautiful open world, tons to explore, tons to do, as with you to usually expect from a Ubisoft game. It's big, it's fun. I've actually gotten really hooked on it. I've played over 20 hours now. I've still got plenty of things to do. And I think I agree with you, Steve, as well, that it's a solid 8.5 out of 10.
Hell yeah. Good stuff. Steve Saylor. What's going on?
Yeah, so I mentioned this at the beginning that essentially like this was the Assassin's Creed game that I had hoped Ubisoft would remake if they decided to do that. Of course, it was kind of the worst kept secret in the industry. And I'm glad that this is the one that they chose to start with. Because I feel like that Black Flag was widely beloved as one of the best Assassin's Creed games, or just one of the best games out there, and also there's a lot of like modern sort of quality of life stuff that Ubisoft has done in the Assassin's Creed franchise that totally works within Black Flag. There's with the naval combat, with just regular combat, like just the story, like everything, a lot of modern sort of stuff we've seen from Origins, Odyssey, like Valhalla and Shadows. I think that a lot of, yes, maybe obviously take away the RPG stuff, but a lot of that fits within Black Flag. And I think that this totally showcases what that engine can do now. With like, this is a true remake in all sense of the word, while still keeping the original intact. I think, as you said, Steve, like I think like essentially like, yeah, I think for hardcore fans that they're looking for the new scenes and the new like the new stuff, and they don't want us to play the same old again. But I think that them keeping the original intact, but just adding so much more quality of life, like the ability to be able to like crouch at the appropriate times is something that was a sticking point for original folks. But I think that this totally like makes sense and absolutely works. Yes, the clunkiness is there. I found it clunky. If we want to jump into I'll jump into accessibility in a minute, but I found it definitely clunky at times during combat, definitely during parkour, which was difficult at times. But I felt that essentially, like, even though this is kind of like, I feel like this is my first true experience playing the game. I don't I don't think that this was a bad remake in any way, shape, or form. It is the original remade in the best way possible, and you get to enjoy the story on the best sort of, like, with everything. The graphics look great, the story is great, everything just works really well together. Even like taking away a lot of the load time, sometimes it kind of helps in that quality of life too. And I think that this is definitely probably my favorite AC game. Like, I would say, I used to say that AC Origins it was that, because I was more of a fan of the newer games, the modern games, than necessarily the older ones, because I couldn't play the older ones. But this is slowly becoming my one of my favorite AC games ever. And it, because even going back my history, I couldn't play this game because of accessibility. I got as far as the naval combat, and I've said this in talks, at different conferences, including internal talks at different other studios within Ubisoft and outside of Ubisoft, because I always use this story as, like, every time I try to do naval combat in the original, my hand would turn basically into a claw, just trying to be able to hit all the buttons you need to do in order to be able to do any type of naval combat. And that's just fighting one ship, let alone like two or three at sometimes.
Yeah.
So in this game, and I was really hoping that could be fixed, or that could be a little bit more modernized to make it a little bit less claw-like and actually be a little bit more strategic and still work well within the naval combat that was in the original game. And I can honestly say, with the amount of accessibility that's there, with the remapping for subtitles, for captions, for all the on menu narration, for even the ability to, you can actually have you can set a path for your ship, and you can just have it have it follow along the scene. You can just sit back, relax while your crew is singing a shanty and you're just looking at the scenery. You can have that, and you can have them basically follow through. And that's an accessibility option, because that's for blind players to be able to, like, direct to where they need to go for the next waypoint. You could do that in this, and it is by far the most accessible of the original you can be able to make. I think with this one, it definitely hits every area that you would want to hit with the majority of accessibility that's in there. It's not perfect. There definitely is some stuff that's a bit clunky. That's more, I think, probably because of just how the game was. They wanted to keep the game as original, or close to the original as possible, but just with new quality of life updates. So there are some old game design decisions that were made back then that are, like, you couldn't really change now. But with all that said, this is, I think, Ubisoft is hitting their stride with they are probably the one studio that has actually made open worlds accessible. And that is, and they keep improving from game after game. And while there is some missing things for accessibility in this that I would love to have had, and there's some even annoying things in here, they keep improving game after game. And so for both accessibility and for just my general thoughts, it's definitely the same. It's an 8.5 out of 10.
Very nice. All right.
What do you think, Marcel?
Better not screw this one up here, you know. So for Black Flag, like I mentioned, I played a little bit here and there up to a certain point, and you know, when I was playing it again, I do remember. I'm like, oh, I remember this part here. I remember doing this, but for some reason, this time around, I'm like, okay, this is actually a little bit better experience that I'm dealing with here, with the different controls, how the game looks, the water, everything looks so good and everything. There is one thing I gotta say about the graphics though, like with the character models. I must say, the game looks cool, yet the models look old still for some reason. I find
secondary characters for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the game, the whole, like, it has like that whole shadows, like beautified, like almost photorealism look and everything. And then I'm looking at the characters, I'm like, oh, you look like a polished PS3 character to me right here. But besides that, like, overall with the performances, the new dialogue as well, I do wish that they did sprinkle in some of the new content, like, you know, like give you a little snippet of like, hey, this is what you can expect later on, like just sprinkle it across the whole game and everything instead of being the latter half at the end. The controls, I found is just your standard Assassin's Creed controls where, like we're chasing the music, you're like, all right, jump over there, and then he just falls off. I'm like,
dude, the amount of times I'm going after a shanty and Edward just beams it to the left.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not doing that one.
First try.
I'm done. I'm not doing it. No.
Yeah. But like with the whole controls, and I even see like parts where they learned from, I don't know if they learned it from, they took this the lesson from Star Wars Outlaws, where you could go in the middle, you can actually perform double assassin, because before that wasn't even a thing in Star Wars Outlaws. You're like, hey, Nix, go over there and distract these two people. You can even do that, but no, stand in the middle, everything works. The game is just a lot of fun, and you know what? I'm going with the 8.5 as well. So
hell yeah,
8.5s across the board.
Across the board.
Love that.
Who wants to dive right into some heavier stuff here as well?
I want to talk about like some of the new content specifically, because I think that for a lot of people, a lot of like hardcore Assassin's Creed fans, they're going to come into this and be like, all right, well, yeah, it's a fresh coat of paint. We've already got something similar when they did the Assassin's Creed 3 remaster, and that kind of like up-resed it, made it run a little better and everything. I want to make a point and say, like, that's not what this is. Like, Resynced is for all intents and purposes, a new game, just a retold story, essentially. Like, and it kind of dawned on me pretty early on when, again, I'm that guy. I'm going through trying to do trophies, and because there's no map or guide or anything like out there, I was like referencing the old map, referencing old locations for specific things and everything. And then it dawned on me, like, a lot of the islands totally remixed. Like the layouts of the islands are not one-to-one. The where like chests and shanties are positioned, not one-to-one. Like they've actually gone in and kind of remade the game from the ground up, just kept the story, kept a lot of the original voice acting and everything, to honor the original, but make it all feel very modernized. But when it comes to like a lot of the new content, I was surprised how much they dedicate towards Blackbeard specifically, and in doing so, a lot of that content is then kind of relegated to past sequence 8 and beyond. Like a lot of it is actually like end game content where you get some
DLC in the original.
Sorry,
Blackbeard was a DLC, was he not? In the original,
I never played the DLC. I know that for the end game stuff, it's all brand new.
Yeah. Okay.
So brand new missions that they kind of added in and everything. It kind of sucked because like Blackbeard, even replaying it, I was like, oh, I love the relationship between Edward and Blackbeard, what Blackbeard brings to the game and everything. And there were some like really touching moments added to the game with this new content and everything. It just kind of sucks that it's all kind of relegated to the end of the game. But I know a lot of people, and I'm trying to do my best to remain as vague as possible. A lot of people were kind of disappointed when they first announced this because they're like, well, you're giving us all the like Edward story, but you're taking away all the modern day stuff. Well, that kind of sucks. Like, like for people who were really into the lore, into that aspect of it, like why there is a very specific reason that stuff is just not in the game. They address it, in my opinion, fully. You have to do a little bit of digging, but I thought it was like a satisfying reason for why they weren't like, well, it's just a beat for beat remake. We're giving you the modern day Abstergo employee stuff and then giving you the Edward stuff as well. Like them getting rid of it, I thought was weird to begin with, thinking that this was just a straight up remaster. But the more I got into the game and kind of started going in through like the data files you can collect and everything, I was like, oh, they're doing something really, really cool here. And for people who had played the last DLC for Assassin's Creed Shadows will kind of understand more, because it does lead in directly into Black Flag Resynced, not the original Black Flag, which is very interesting. So in a way,
you're talking about the Attack on Titan DLC from Shadows,
absolutely, right? Yes. The one everybody loves. So in a way, I'm kind of like pitching it almost as in like they kind of took a Final Fantasy VII remake approach where it's like, no, the original game still happened in the timeline of things. Resynced is a totally different thing. It is is them reanalyzing Edward's story for story
Oh,
purposes.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's cool.
Very, very interesting stuff. By the end of it, I was like, I wish it paid off a little more, but I do understand it in the context of, hey, not all the content is here, but there's a reason for it. So for people who were kind of upset, I did want to at least vaguely address that they did take that into account.
Do you think that they're doing it as like a slow build to something? And they're just trying to get people, like excited for it, or kind of like, dip our toes in back into the modern sort of stuff, but doing it in a different way?
I mean, I could go on a tangent with this, but like Valhalla set up something so cool, and then they just kind of dropped it.
And they dropped the ball. I'm
Shadows,
so mad about that.
Resynced. It doesn't really pay off on any of that. And if there is any kind of attempt to kind of rebuild towards that, new modern, I haven't reached it just yet. Like I said, there was stuff still that I roll credits, have done endgame stuff. There's still stuff that is locked. So I'm not fully convinced that maybe it's not there to begin with, but from what I've experienced so far, it's not. I haven't experienced that kind of payoff.
That's one of the things that's always annoying me when you boot up the game, you introduce this beautiful scenery of the anime, and then like someone's telling you, you're being lied to. You're like, whoa, what is this about? And then it just that's it.
That's another Assassin's Creed Shadows thing.
Like you never hear about it again. Yeah. I don't know. I wonder, like, with you guys, can Ubisoft, borrow the practices of Capcom and like do this like a whole Resident Evil thing where like Black Flag is the remake, and now here's
I can see that. I'm gonna
Assassin's Creed 9, or whatever.
I'm gonna say that a lot of the Assassin's Creed games they still hold up in a certain way, right? Like obviously loading times and 30 FPS, those are all things that we would love to see updated for all of them, certainly. But I could still go back and enjoy bits and pieces and aspects of like Assassin's Creed 2 or Brotherhood, right? But Assassin's Creed 1 is like unplayable. You cannot go back to it. It's so rough compared to everything that we have gotten since. So I really do hope that it gets the remake treatment next. And I mean, I would love to see them just to do the Capcom thing, right? Like remake 2, remake Brotherhood, do the whole Ezio trilogy, and then
sprinkle some new games in between them.
Yeah. 100%.
Fun fact actually about Assassin's Creed 1. It is just to see even kind of how far Ubisoft has come since then. Did you know that Assassin's Creed 1 doesn't have any subtitles?
Yeah, I think I remember you telling me this before.
I could imagine.
It has zero subtitles whatsoever. I know, right? To think about
Can we talk about subtitles in this game first? Does anyone realize how fucking bizarre they are?
Wait, why?
The abysmal use of capitalizing words. I swear this is conspiracy. Did they use AI? Because I don't understand where they'd get off just being like, oh, the word money has a capital M. I'm like, what do you mean? In what world? In what sentence structure do these words?
You have kids named Blue Ivory now, so someone can be named Money these days. Who
is the development studio of this one? Because it wasn't Montreal or Montpellier, I don't think.
I think it was. I don't know.
That is a really good question.
Yeah, because I think it was someone else that had like it was the original team, I think, or original director, but I think
Singapore.
It was Singapore. Okay, so it could have been just translation issue.
I don't know, but that thing needs to be addressed because like it gave me like AI vibes.
For a second, I thought we were gonna fight for a second. I'm like, what do you got up against accessibility there, Steve?
I don't like the font.
But it drove me nuts. Where it's like every other word is capitalized. I'm like, this has been run through an algorithm for some reason. It reminded me of The Office when it was like, oh, we didn't catch the Dwigget. So it's just left it there. I was like, there's something here. I don't know.
I think I've been noticing in general in media lately some issues with subtitles where oftentimes the subtitles are just like not what the person is saying. I usually attribute that to, maybe it's transcribed from the script. And when they shot it, someone spoke it differently or spoke the line differently.
Yeah, usually that happens either like in that particular case, or there could have been a last minute edit and changed out a word, or they ADR'd something and that change didn't make it to the caption. Because usually a lot of caption folks are like people who do caption. It's not the studio that's making it generally. It's usually an outside contractor that the studio would hire to basically create these. And funny enough, actually, a lot of TV shows it's usually sponsored, because it basically gets produced by from that kind of from money for doing that. But yeah, with video games, it's done within the studio too. But yeah, I going back to what you were saying, like Aaron as well. Like I think I would like this to me. Black Flag feels like an experiment, feeling like a testing game to be like, hey, we're thinking about maybe remaking these. We're going to start with Black Flag. See, people love it. People, and hopefully, people will love it when it does well for Ubisoft, so that they can go back and redo one. And then I think I would probably say that probably maybe the Ezio trilogy is probably where they would go to next instead of just doing go back to one. Because that seemed a little bit more beloved from my understanding. Because I haven't played.
Able to lump those three as in one big story?
No, I don't think they would do that.
That's just too long, right?
Yeah, I think they would probably do.
They're not going to make enough money out of
that. No. It would take too much development.
God damn it. Come on.
But I think that it's definitely, and I love that idea of like doing the Capcom route. Remake, go back, remake one, and then come back with another one. I think that's what they would hope to be able to do, with just keep releasing AC titles. But right now they're still kind of in that transition phase of being, divested or subsidized within Ubisoft as its own company with what was it? Is it Tencent that owns part of it now? Or that's the subsidiary with Ubisoft. So and they're running essentially the Assassin's Creed franchise. So I hope that maybe we'll finally get Hex out, if that's ever still gonna happen. But yeah, I would love to see that. Yeah, new game and then remake and then go back to new game just to kind of like get that content rolling.
And I think, based on what we're seeing or starting to see online, just in general, like the anticipation for this and the love that people had for the original and what it's created in terms of excitement for this remake, it does look like this is a successful experiment so far. We'll look at what sales numbers and review scores and all that are across the board once everybody's reviews drop. But I could see them having this be like that experiment, like you said, Steve, that leads to an Ezio trilogy remake. Maybe I really would selfishly like them to just remake Assassin's Creed 1, because I think it's the one that needs it the absolute most.
Sure.
But you could totally see that if they follow up on anything here, it'll be going straight to Assassin's Creed 2, because everybody loves Ezio, everybody loves the story. I mean, myself included. Those are that trilogy. I mean, before I even played this, I was like, that's the holy grail of Assassin's Creed. But yeah, I could totally see them looking at this experimentally and taking it to a step further with whatever they do for the Ezio trilogy and just for the franchise in general. It would be nice to just have a good flow of Assassin's Creed games coming out again if they were to follow this route. And honestly, it's weird because in gaming, I am way more about and way more for remakes than I am like on the film side of things, right? Because I think in gaming, there's a lot more room for like iteration and modernization. And as well, I mean, when you talk specifically from accessibility, that's one of the biggest, I think, standpoints for why remakes are a great thing, right? For Assassin's Creed Black Flag, someone like yourself, Steve, say like you couldn't really play or enjoy the original to its fullest extent.
I couldn't play any of the previous Assassin's Creed. I tried to play one, and I tried. I think probably the furthest I ever got in the oldest ones was 3, because I loved that time period of Revolutionary War, so I wanted to play that one. I had to force myself to get through it, and to the point where I got as far as I could, and then I had to like watch YouTube videos to see how the story ended, because I was just that invested. But like the only ones I've been able to enjoy fully have been the modern versions, and I know that people don't necessarily like the modern way of how Assassin's Creed has been, and I would agree with certain points. I think that sometimes the RPG aspect can get in the way. I think it's a huge amount of bloat when it comes to like the open world maps. Like I think Valhalla probably was like the biggest maps I think I've seen, and like even like I know the other maps
There were like
got bigger,
4 pages of maps.
yeah, like I think it's like you have that opening area in essentially I think Iceland, essentially like where you're there's what's a giant map in and of itself, and then it's like, oh no, now you're going to England and it's another giant map.
It's another map.
Like, so I think like I agree with a lot of the criticisms that the modern AC games had taken, but I think that I think that there was something there that allowed me to be able to play. Like, or again, Origins was like up until this one was my favorite AC game.
Origins is great.
It's so good, and
it's got a couple of things that it made mistakes on that they started to like slowly fix upon with like Odyssey and then Shadows. Yeah. But yeah, Origins that has an amazing story.
I think it kind of dawned on me that when we got to Mirage, I was like, oh, I miss these kinds of Assassin's Creed games.
I agree.
Games that I'm like,
I was about
to 20 hours. I don't need a 120-hour open world full of just bullshit, just a endless checklist. Because that's what it became. That's what
it was.
Valhalla, that's what Shadows was, and it just became too much. And I really loved this return. It's such a cop-out statement, but a return to form almost of like, we're telling you a story, a compelling story with good characters, great gameplay loop, and I think
only one map.
Only one map. And like exploration kind of feels more meaningful when every island doesn't feel like it's just a copy and paste of the next one. And just kind of distilling the combat to attack. You have this like cool arsenal of tools. You have a cool parry system with takedowns and everything. I'm like, this is the double assassination. Like even just hearing the sound of the hidden blade coming out, I'm like, I've missed this. Like there is nothing that goes harder than like you looming over an enemy and just pulling off the perfect assassination and then run.
And
like
just hear that.
It's amazing.
Oh, my favorite was climbing up on top of the sails and just waiting for the two to kind of come across and just do the jump down, doing the double assassination. I'm like, that's what being a pirate's all about.
I think I could not. I don't know if I'll ever in my life get over or not do when you have the ability to board a ship and you go from the specific part of the ship to jump to the other one where you grab onto the rope and swing across. Oh my god, man. So much
I'm really glad you brought that up because I wanted to mention, I forgot to mention this during my part of the review, that Skull and Bone wishes it was in this game.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! Here's the thing, though. There are some elements. There are some gameplay elements that I could see from Skull and Bones in this.
Yeah, totally.
Like they took the best of aspects of it.
With the three
best parts, but the remainder part was here. The remainder, the whole sauce and the ingredients were all in this base game already, and they just added those three. Like, let's just add them in there because it's so good. Like swinging across. Oh, I want that ship now. Swing across, take it. Oh, I need new crew. Oh, there's a guy floating over there. Let me pick him up.
Or you upgrade and you unlock that like super ram ability, so you see a ship, it's lined up for the T-bone, and you hit the L1 R1 and just start full steam ahead.
That's the best part about it. It's like remove yourself from being an Assassin's Creed game. This is the ultimate pirate fantasy. It's doing cool shit like doing the swing onto another boat. It's going onto an island and finding like a treasure map that will lead you somewhere else and going on like an exploration. It's building out your homestead and everything, and like building out a brothel, building out the fisherman's wharf and everything. It's like this is like, or like even the subtle touches of drinking too much at the bar and then waking up in a haystack and stuff. It's like there's so much love and appreciation to just pirate media that I think they nail 100%.
It's so funny. There was sorry to cut you off, Steve. There was an island that I was on where I ran into like a couple, right? This lady is yelling at her husband. Her husband's drunk. And I see that they're like where the husband is, there's a secret, like something to obtain. And I was like, how do I get there? And I kept noticing that every time I would approach the couple, Kenway would go, I want to drink whatever that guy's drinking. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try something. I went over to the bar. I drank till it was too much, and I woke up where the husband was, and I was able to get head for that one. I was like, wow, like little things like that are like, I love tiny little secrets that are so interactive in that way, where you are completely immersed into the open world to the point where you're like, I'm just going to experiment, and it works exactly how you would have thought it would in your mind.
even
love
to the
little moments
points
like that.
where they like you used to fail in the original game when you couldn't be able to like when you had to try to follow somebody or and you try to do stealth and do that. But like what I love in this, it's like so you try to do that and it's like okay, or I'm stealthing. I think I'm doing good. You know, following, and then it's just one quick mistake or just one quick turn, and the soldier or whoever you're trailing sees you, and then it's just an all out brawl, and then I just seeing then like Edward just take out his double swords and be like,
he's ready to
bring
go.
it on, bitches.
Yeah.
Like, let's freaking go. And I love that because I'm a stealth guy. I love I think I said this before on the show. My favorite thing to do in a stealth game is basically I want to make sure that when I go in, I come out without anybody knowing that I'm even there. In this game, if I try to go in stealth, I try to do that, but if I get caught, got like pistols out, pistols out and swords out, I'm ready to go.
Dude, I love the quick fire pistols too. Really addicting feature.
I even love going back to even the ship combat, like when we're boarding a ship. I love like, or I'm kind of standing on the edge of the railing, and there's that one big dude that basically you have to try to dodge because he has a giant axe. I remember I dodged out of the way, dove back into the water. I swam underneath the ship, came back up, and took him from behind. And I was like,
so cinematic.
Absolutely cinematic.
There's a lot of new like kill animations and everything in this game that added on here as well.
I will say, okay, you know, like for as much as I do love, like there's a couple of things I did want to get into about like that I feel the game just doesn't absolutely nail.
Sure.
And it's weird because for as much as there is a lot to enjoy about combat, for me, a lot of it did just boil down to wait for them to attack, parry once, they're dead. You know what I mean? Like, and it was like, because it's not one of the big RPG style Assassin's Creed games, there was no like, this enemies are real high level and is kind of a bullet sponge, if you will.
It's
armor. It's just everybody. I wait for them to attack. I parry. They're dead. You know what I mean? Like,
there is like one really good improvement where in the old game, enemies would kind of do the stupid thing where it's like, oh well, one guy's fighting, I gotta wait until he's dead and then I'll jump in. Now it's kind of like a little more, and I don't want to say it, but like a little more Arkham, where it is like now there's 3 in like the ring, and it's like okay, I gotta put my sword behind me, hit this guy,
quick fire pistol that dude.
Exactly. There's a bit more like enemy management. I will say it's far from perfect, don't get me wrong, but at least it's a little more involved than
for sure
it used to be.
I think so too. Once there's when there's a large crowd of enemies, you definitely have to be a bit more involved. But it's like if you're going up against like 3 dudes, two or 3 dudes, it's easy. I'm just sitting there like, okay, get ready to swing your sword, let me parry it, and you're gone. You know, stealth as well. I mean, I think stealth in these games works the best for me because I'm so bad at stealth. But there's often times where I'm just hiding in the tall grass. I wait for someone to walk by, assassinate them. Someone goes, "What was that?" They walk over, I assassinate them too. A third guy goes, "What was that?" And they walk over and I assassinate them too.
Oh, I think I heard like my friend
piles of bodies in the grass.
I kind of would have hoped that at a certain point by the third guy in the tall grass that I am killing, that they would go, okay, our people are dropping like flies. There must be something in that tall grass. Start shooting your gun, man. So it's like, it's just little things like that. I'm honestly just nitpicking at best, but I do have to point it out because it was notable to me through my time playing the game. And honestly, I really do wish that they found a way to make the parkour just a little smoother.
I know.
Because when it's working, it's awesome. And I turned on the advanced controls too. I was doing side ejects, back ejects. I was really into all that stuff. I just wish it didn't feel like I was going through molasses when I'm trying to do it sometimes. You know, like I wish that Kenway didn't feel like he weighed 10,000 pounds when I'm trying to climb something. Sometimes just especially let it be quick and smooth, you know?
Yeah. Especially when you're like trying to find those shanties and you were like, that's basically the gameplay is the parkour. Yeah. And what sucks is that it's like, you're right. Like when you're sprinting to try to be able to catch up to the page, it's like, it's sometimes when you're walking across a rope, it's like you're sneaking across. And I'm like, why are you so freaking slow right now?
Sorry, continue your thoughts.
No, yeah. The only thing I was getting is basically like, and then you have the like when you're just about to like jump to the next like building or what have you, or the next tree stump, and then it just all of a sudden like you just dodge like completely like in the opposite direction, and I'm just like it just makes it that much more frustrating. And it's as you said, it's a nitpick, but it's like one of those I just wish it was a little bit less clunky
for sure,
because otherwise it could have been like it's really super smooth in this.
I also just wish that there wasn't something that stopped you from sprinting so much, you know, or at least I don't know if there's an accessibility option. Maybe I got to look through where you can just auto sprint all the time, because there are times where I'm trying to chase after those shanties, and it's like I do a couple of jumps and now I'm on a rooftop, and I'm doing a nice light little jog like a jackass. You know what I mean? Like, let's go, get moving, Kenway.
I wish they carried over the ability to like quick out of like certain sequences where it's like, okay, you're doing the synchronization, and it's like, okay, now wait for the whole pan. Where I think
Shadows allowed you to skip it.
Yeah. And there's also like other ones where it's like, okay, you're forced to wait for a specific mission, so you'll be like leaning up and it'll show you the passage of time. I'm like, it's 2026. We should be able to just keep this going. Keep this going. Or even like certain things where it's like, okay, you get into like a boss battle and it has like the intro sequence, the cinematic and everything. You can never skip it if you die and come back to it. So it's like, it's little things like that. I'm like, we're past this.
Or even like going into like your captain's quarters in the ship. Like, I don't know why there needs to be a black screen or like a load in for that. I should just be able to walk in. You know what I mean? Like, I'm playing this on a PS5 Pro. Like, again, I'm really picking it apart. It feels like I do enjoy a lot of the game. It's just I don't want to sit here and speak entirely glowingly about it. We have to give some feedback.
No, absolutely.
Provide a couple of negatives.
There is that menu system that we all talked about where it's like, oh my God, pass
the Animus thing.
So that loads half the time. Sometimes it's just like, no, it's offline. I was like, the first time I tried to go in there, the first like 3 or 4 times, it was just offline the entire time. I'm like, oh, or is this not available until like? No, it's not. It was not supposed to be. It was just broken.
I think what's particularly frustrating about the Animus thing in general is that it's meant to be a free battle pass. Like, it's not a paid thing, right?
No.
So there's no microtransactions. There's no like you have to pay additional there isn't even any means where it's like you can buy those credits with real money, right? Like, or is there? Am I wrong about that?
I feel like there is a tab for a store. I don't know what
there is a tab for a store, but it's not tied to the Animus stuff. The store is like its own thing.
So the question is just those cosmetics. There's no currency. That's all.
Well, didn't have it in Shadows because Shadows had the Animus as well with the.
But did Shadows have the Animus coins?
I don't know.
As its own. Okay,
I think
so
those
maybe I'm
are
wrong.
New.
So maybe I'm wrong. Don't
from
quote
Shadows.
Me. But I guess essentially what I was trying to get at is that it's like a free track, right? Where you can unlock Connor's costume from Assassin's Creed 3 or Naoe's robes from Shadows, right? If it's free, why make it so grindy? You know, like why not just have it be like you go to this island, you find this secret, you unlock this costume. You know what I mean?
They want the money. That's why.
I don't even
about the money.
I don't even know if in this case it's about the money though, because I'm not sure if it's a paid thing or if there's ways.
Well, because I
think there's a way you just buy it. You're like, oh, I don't want to do it.
Potentially, I can see that
through it. I'd have to.
I don't know.
I also want to point out that Ubisoft has not been averse to being like, oh, the currency not available until launch.
Yeah, that could be.
So it could be one of those things where they update it and they're like, here's your fast pass.
I do like in the game that you can search for Abstergo like memories and Animus stuff like in the game, and there's like little missions you can basically do that opens up. Like I ever got to the end game because I know there's like a little bit more involved in that. But I wish that there was at least a little bit more story related to it, because I think the first time I tried one of the Animus missions it was to sink a ship, and I found a bunch of like like it has like the timer, you have to basically get all the chests.
You're talking about like the anomaly thing.
The anomalies, yeah.
So that's totally different from the Animus.
Oh, okay.
There are rift missions, and then
I feel like it's kind of like it's the modern like Abstergo stuff. I don't know. I'm like, hey, for me as someone who's brand new to this, I'm like, I don't even
know. I don't even know. Like I'm doing missions, unlocking credits for something I don't even know.
Yeah, honestly,
and I'm in it.
Honestly, well, both Steves, honestly, like they just dropped the ball on like they're like, here's this cool thing. You're like, oh, what's this about?
Yeah, I wish there was like more to it, being like, okay, what are we like? Are we peeking into the future a little bit? Are we learning more about all the other artifacts that all the previous AC games had, like, you know, like you're supposed to be looking for? Like, I thought that it would have been a little bit more than just loot, basically, or like higher end or like, you know, rare loot essentially. But I don't know, maybe it's just because I've only done a few. That
is Loki still around in the modern day? Tell me, Steve, is he? I want to know.
Where is he?
Where's Loki?
Where is he?
He was there at the end.
He hopped into an entirely different game universe called God of War.
Yeah.
Yes. And then jumped over to Marvel Rivals as well.
There you go.
Now he's on Tokon now.
Yeah.
You got it.
But overall, as you can, you know, it's weird to say this, not weird to say, but you know, this show like how far where this game has come. Like there's an excitement for a Ubisoft game, an Assassin's Creed game. Yeah. Even though yes, we have some nitpick here and there, but there's a huge excitement.
It is based on an older game that we all loved.
Well, that's the one that everyone wanted. I know there's no multiplayer as well that didn't come along with this one, but like.
Did the original have a multiplayer?
Yes, people were a little upset there was no multiplayer in this one.
Good too.
Yeah. But did Uncharted have multiplayer? I rest my case. So there you go. So
it kind of
did. I rest my case. No friends, nothing. All right. No time for friends. Go be a pirate. All right, everyone. So with that being said, Steve, what's going on? Kenway, what's going on with you for the rest of the week?
I'm probably gonna keep playing Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced because, like I said, there's stuff in the end game that I'm really excited about that I want to get into and just have a better understanding. We're talking about, you know, anime shit and, you know, anomalies and everything. That sort of stuff has me really compelled to keep playing this, but I'm excited, you know, having roll credits on it. I'll keep playing it, but then there's a lot of other games coming out this month that I'm excited for as well.
Hell yeah. And then Caboose, what's going on for you? More photography? More pirate photography?
I'm doing some photo mode for sure. I mean, this is gonna be a pretty big month for some gaming, so I'm excited for all the things to come. We got a brand new season of Marvel Rivals on the way. We've got a brand new Halo on the way, Campaign Evolved. I'm excited for that as well.
Oh yeah.
And then again, just count down the days until Wolverine. We're getting closer and closer, so that'll be exciting. And I'm just going to keep playing this, keep jumping into Assassin's Creed, exploring this world. I'm going to try and go for that platinum because I am really loving it and I am really enjoying it.
Yeah.
And that's it. You can check me out Twitter and Instagram at CabooseEK, youtube.com/Caboose, or twitch.tv/Caboose.
And you also forgot Tokon betas this month as well.
That's right. The Tokon beta is coming up. Is that like this weekend?
No, July 24th.
24th.
So you got some time. You got some time.
So the Tokon beta Blade's gonna be in there, so I'm excited to try that out too. Yeah. Oh yeah, lots of look.
That's what they literally put in the blog. Blade is in the beta. And everyone was asking,
Blade in a game. We've got Blade in a game, but the Blade game, I don't know. It's not been a great week for video game news, but
it's only Monday. So
Monday is Monday to ever Monday.
Yeah. Steve Saylor, save us from this dreary, please.
I'm same with y'all. I'm basically excited to keep playing more Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I'm about 11-ish hours in right now, and I definitely have a lot more game to go. And I'm just taking my time. I'm just enjoying the view, enjoying the journey as I go and become my best pirate self. But also speaking of remakes, is that on stream on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Steve Saylor, I am currently playing Final Fantasy VII Remake for the first time. So I'll be
get ready for a fun ride.
Yeah, I'm excited. So that's basically it for me. And then also my YouTube channel, I'll have a more in-depth accessibility review of Black Flag as well.
Cool. Nice. As for me, I'm getting ready for some more games. We got Doom coming out, and Halo's coming out as well. Tokon, Avatar, I think is this month as well. So there's a bunch of games. So, and then of course a bunch of content. Our X-Men content's coming out. More reviews with these lovely people right here, and of course all the gaming news we have for you guys coming up. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and like button as well, and leave your comments down below. And as always, everyone, we'll check out the next episode. Take care.
Bye.
Jesus.